See how to make full wave rectifier. It's a lab experiment. It's a hardware experiment. So here we need to use one source, an AC source, and here is a transformer. It's a center tapped transformer, and we need to use two diodes for a full wave rectifier. If you want a half wave rectifier and one diode is enough, it's a full wave, so you need two diodes, or you can also use the bridge rectifier, that means by using the four diodes. So here I'm considering the two diodes, that's a full wave rectifier, and um, with filter, so I added one capacitor here, that's the 470 microfarad. Okay, then here there are the two diodes. During the positive half cycle of this AC, this cycle, that means here the diode D1 conducts, thus the voltage across this 1K resistor is that transformed voltage. This transformer is a 12 volt transformer. So here some diode drops occurs, that means 0.7 voltage drop across this diode, and the voltage across this resistor is around 11.3 volt. Okay, then during the negative half cycle, this diode will conduct D2 and this diode will not conduct. So during the H positive and the negative half cycle, this resistor or any load, we can call this as a load, the voltage across the load is some voltage, and here we can see this capacitor filter. It's because to reduce the rippling, to reduce the ripple in the output voltage. Then it's just like if we consider only these diodes without any capacitor, then we get the waveforms like this one, this one, this one. The input is the sine waveform and the output is like this. So if you want to get the DC means it is straight line, no, so we have to use capacitor, so that it will become somewhat like the capacitor charges during this cycle and the capacitor discharges like this. So we can reduce the ripple. It's not a straight line the output, but we can reduce the ripple in almost extent. I think you are familiar with all these things. In hardware, we have to measure mainly 6 types of voltages in this circuit. We need to construct this circuit in the hardware, and we need to measure 6 types of voltages. What are those things? In the output side, that means here is a transformer output side. What we are getting? We are getting the AC. Okay, we need to measure the input for this rectifier, the voltage of the input and the voltage in the output side, voltage at the input side as well as the voltage at the output side. That means for this rectifier, this is a diode rectifier, no, for this rectifier we are giving the input from the secondary of the transformer and we are getting the output after this diode. We have to measure the voltage here, that means at the secondary of the transformer, that is the input voltage, and the output voltage, that is the after this diode. After both these diodes we need to measure the output voltage. So input voltage we are getting here purely AC voltage, because transformer it just convert the higher value of the AC to the lower voltages. So here in the secondary we are getting only the AC voltage. We can measure this AC voltage either through this one, that is the CRO. We can measure this AC voltage either through this CRO. Okay, this is our CRO, or we can also measure this by using the DVM, that's digital multimeter. If you measure this using this is the input voltage. Okay, if you measure this input voltage by using the CRO, that means here I am keeping my CRO probes. If I measure this voltage, then it is called as Vs. Remember this. Then we call this as Vs, V secondary, Vs. Then if we measure this AC input voltage, here there is no talk of DC, because we are not getting any DC voltage in the transformer. It's a purely AC voltage. So we need to measure the Vs. That means by using the CRO, we are measuring the input voltage of to this rectifier. That means the secondary, transformer secondary. Then if we use the DVM, digital voltmeter, to measure these two voltages, I kept the two CRO probes. So in that same position, I will keep this DVM by making this to a AC voltage. Then that is called as the VRMS. That voltage what we are getting in the DVM is called as the VRMS. Then when we comes to this output side, that means after these rectifications, after this rectifier, our main intention is to rectify is that we have to get the DC voltage. So here we are getting DC, but we are not getting the pure DC, we are getting some AC voltage also. So we need to measure AC and as well as a DC voltage. That means here again the four categories: AC DVM, AC CRO, DC DVM, DC CRO. Okay. Now first we will consider AC. Then if I measure the AC voltage across this one, across this load, or after the rectification, means across the load. No, if I measure this AC voltage, I am measuring the AC now by using the CRO, then it is called as VR peak to peak, because here AC voltage means the rippling is there, no, the capacitor's rippling. When we use the capacitor, then we are not getting direct straight line, there is a small rippling. Then this VR peak to peak means from, if the wave is like this, then from this to this, the capacitor, that's the maximum here, and the capacitor discharges, and again the cycle increases. So from this to this is the VR peak to peak. I will show that in a diagram, don't worry, I will give that in a description. And if you measure, remember this, if you measure the AC voltage by using the CRO across this load, then it's called as VR peak to peak. If I measure the AC voltage, I need to keep this to AC. If I measure this AC voltage across the load, same position as we kept in this CRO, at the same position, if I keep this multimeter or DVM, then this is called as a VAC. We are measuring AC voltage now, so it's called as a VAC. Now if I measure the DC voltage, that means in that CRO I am pressing that button or adjusting to measure the DC voltage through the CRO. If I measure the DC voltage across this load, then it's called as, by using that CRO, then it's called as VM. If I measure the DC voltage, now it's at AC, I need to make this to DC, and if I measure the DC voltage across that same load DC by using the DVM or a multimeter, then that is called as VDC. So we need to remember 6 parameters: VDC, VM, VAC, VR peak to peak. These are all the output voltages, and when we come to the input, VS and VRMS. VS means by using the DVM, no, not DVM. VS means by using the CRO.